Spider-Man is one of the most popular superheroes in the world. His popularity is on the rise this year due to the upcoming release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie, as well as a long-awaited Insomniac's video game Spider-Man 2, which is set to release this fall. The Spider-Man franchise has a long history of video games, and a lot of them were based on the movies. However, there are also a number of games with original stories. One of such games is Shattered Dimensions, released in 2010 for PS3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii and PC. The separate version for Nintendo DS was released as well, but I will mainly cover the PC version in this video. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions presents an exciting story bringing up the idea of multiverse. Moreover, in 2014, one of the writers of Shattered Dimensions, Dan Slott, started working on a comic book storyline, Spider-Verse, inspired by the video game ideas. The story of Shattered Dimensions revolves around the Tablet of Order and Chaos, a powerful artifact that was shattered to pieces during the fight between Spider-Man and Mysterio in the opening sequence of the game. Each piece of the tablet has been transported to a different universe, and Madam Web has called on 4 different versions of Spider-Man to retrieve them, facing a variety of enemies, including iconic comic book villains like Electro and Scorpion.
Is that a cartoon pig?
The game is fully voiced by actors who previously worked in prior animated series, so you can expect high-quality voice acting. The narration for the game is provided by legendary Stan Lee himself.
Hey there, true believers! Watch as once again frightening forces are at work in our world, ready to wreak havoc with our very existence.
The dialogues are well written and contain many jokes, as you would expect from the Spider-Man game.
If it isn't the spectacular spider smut!
Oh, dude, pants! No one wants to see your junk.
Keep laughing, punk! I have become a being of pure energy! Without pants!
Unlike many Spider-Man games, this one doesn't feature an open world setting, having a linear progression across 14 different missions instead. The game has a collectible system wherein you gather spider marks, which provide you with points you can spend on upgrading characters' abilities and unlocking special costumes. However, upgrades and costumes are only available after beating a specific number of challenges, though the majority of these tasks are quite easy, like defeating 10 enemies with a certain move or dodging 5 attacks. In Shattered Dimensions, the player controls 4 different versions of Spider-Man: Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man 2099 and Ultimate Spider-Man. Apart from usual features like web swinging, wall crawling or spider sense, each version has their own unique playstyle and abilities. Amazing Spider-Man is the default version of web slinger from the mainstream Marvel universe. He uses the combination of melee and web attacks like Web Hammer Strike. His web-based melee attacks are more powerful and can deal double damage to enemies. Spider-Man Noir from the universe set in 1930s is utilizing stealth as the main approach instead of open fighting. When you play as Noir, the gameplay shifts from combat action to tactical stealth disposal of your enemies. Melee combat is not advisable, as this version of Spider-Man has less combat abilities than others. If you have been spotted, you can simply hide for a moment and the enemies will forget about your existence, proceeding with usual script. It's not the best gameplay design, but probably better than restarting the game every time you are discovered. Next up, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man from futuristic 2099 universe, who is using acrobatics and talents, giving him advantage in close combat. The special feature of this variant is accelerated vision, essentially a slow-mo you can activate during fights to dodge projectiles or enemy attacks. And finally, Ultimate Spider-Man, the younger alternate version of Peter Parker in black symbiote suit. It can generate spikes and tendrils as an extension of Spider-Man's body. This version also has a rage meter that enables enhanced attacks. It regenerates over time and is really helpful against a group of enemies. The great thing is that the game doesn't feel repetitive at all, as you change the main character from mission to mission, and locations have a unique style and atmosphere. Every boss fight is different from another and requires a certain strategy to achieve victory, even though in some cases Madam Web starts backseating and explaining how to beat the boss. The only downside is that quite often these fights end with mini-games where you need to hit the boss with fists using gamepad sticks and dodge their attacks, performing basic and quite boring QTEs. Visually, the game looks great. It uses cel-shaded graphics that give it a comic book-like style. The design and details of the environment should be praised. Character models are well animated and special effects look incredible. However, the PC version has some technical problems, at least on modern systems. At certain points of the game, there is a chance that it will freeze and you will have to restart it. I have found a workaround for this problem, which would require to go to Game and launch your executable files, open their properties, and in the Compatibility tab choose to run the game with Vista compatibility and also check the last 3 boxes there. In the game itself, it's necessary to set all graphical settings to low, including resolution. After that, you can proceed with the game to skip the place that was causing the problem. This is really annoying, as the game doesn't have manual save and sometimes you need to repeat a couple minutes of gameplay. Apart from that, I have noticed some FPS drops here and there, but nothing critical. I don't have access to console version, but I haven't heard about similar issues, so it seems like from a technical standpoint the PC version is inferior. So, would I recommend this game? Well, yes, but there is one very big problem. The game is no longer available for digital purchase. It was delisted from digital stores in 2014. The reason for that is that Activision's license to publish Spider-Man games have expired. The delisting affected all versions of the game, including the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, and Nintendo DS. The PC version was released again on Steam in October 2015, only to be removed in early 2017. So the only option to play now is if you possess a physical copy of the game, which is not that easy to get a hold of nowadays. It is possible that Shattered Dimensions will have another release in the future, but at the moment there is no news about that, so I wouldn't hold my hopes up on that. Overall, Shattered Dimensions is one of the best Spider-Man games ever made. It has an interesting story, great visuals and non-repetitive gameplay, even though it's not without some problems. If you are a fan of Spider-Man and Marvel Comics in general, this game would be a treat for you.